Who's your emergency contact? Who should we notify in the case of death? Welcome to the USP, where I spent the last 2+ decades of my life. I'm taking you guys through a journey of all the things that I've experienced, things that I've seen, and things that I've done through the course of the last 2+ decades. At this time, when this incident happened, speaking about the previous video, I was waiting to go home to a halfway house. They had put me in for the halfway house. The counselor had came back and said that I was cleared, and then 2 weeks later, she comes back and she tells me that I have warrants. Utah put 5 warrants on me for aggravated robbery, kidnapping, attempted murder, and felon in possession. But I already know that it's frivolous because all those warrants, all those cases back in 1998 is already surpassed the 7-year statutory limitation. But Utah didn't want me home. A lot of these dudes out here, they thought I had a life sentence. And the prison system, the criminal system, was trying to make sure that I didn't come home. So while I'm waiting to go to a halfway house, they put these warrants out on me. And I'm fighting this warrant. And during the process of going through, communicating with my attorney back and forth, trying to deal with his warrant, this incident happened. And now I'm in the shoe. Me and my cell are in the shoe because the warden came and lied on us, saying that we were trying to hide the knives that the DC used to do what they did. Which, when we were in the shoe, after they went and shook down our cells and everything and locked down the unit and searched and took everybody's property and stuff, they didn't find anything in our cell because there was nothing in our cell to be found anyway. But for me, I've been through the criminal justice system. I know a lot of times they don't have to have any type of evidence to link you to a case. And especially if you're already in prison and they put you in the shoe, they can put a tag on you where it says under investigation. Under investigation, you could be in the shoe for a very long time. It's only supposed to be 90 days, but they have 3 extension. So 90 times 3 was that 270 days. You can spend all the way up to 270 days pending an investigation. So when I went to the shoe, they wrote down that I was under investigation for homicide because the dude that got stabbed, Pro, didn't make it. And while we're when they take us out of the unit, they escort us to the shoe. And in the shoe, they put us in the rec cages outside. Each cell in the rec cages. There was a lot of people they round up during that period, during that time. And like I said, there was a DC dude across from us. He wasn't part of the confrontation with Pro. He was part of the confrontation that had happened in the corner under the stairs. And as I've shared with you, he's the one that, told us that he got all stabbed up. He showed his face. He got holes in his face. He got holes in his chest. Because the dude that was beating up, Muhammad, the one that was Muslim and then tried to write Texas, he had a knife on him while the other dudes thought they were just going to punk him and run him up top. I tell you all the time, cowards go hard too. Busters go hard too. Like all these, you never put anything past these dudes just because they're a rat or a coward or a buster or whatever. They're still going to defend themselves when they're cornered. I got a homeboy that died in Lee County when they were going up to punish a rat. The rat jumped up and stabbed him in the neck, hit him one time before my homeboy punished him. But that one time cost him his life. You know, he got hit behind the ear and it hit the right spot. And he died. Rest in peace, the homie. You know what I mean? So, you know, you never put anything about past any dude, especially in the penitentiary, because one, we're all in the penitentiary for a reason. You know, nobody knows what a man is capable of until his back is to the wall. So if some of you guys ask me, well, how come the Texas dude didn't help him, didn't help Pro when the DC dude was on him? Well, as far as the Texas dude, as far as the South dude in our block, they weren't supporting, you know, his decision. They weren't cool with the dude trying to jump ship, trying to become Muslim and riding with the Texas car, riding with the South car. And they voiced that to Pro. I know this because they were in the rec cage with us. You know, and they were telling us, like, man, we weren't back in that play. Like, we already told dude, that dude needs to go. That dude's not going to ride Texas. And as far as their understanding at the time, that was going to be the decision. Because the Texas dude and the Muslim dude and a couple of DC dude had went over in the corner and I told dude he had to go up and then beat him up over there. You know, they beat him up. They say they beat him up good. But you know, from where I was able to see, dude ran out and he was stabbing people, you know, so they didn't, you know, beat him up as good as they thought they did. But they were trying to run him up top over there in the corner. And when the other commotion happened, they all like stopped and paused to see what was going on. And then the DC dude that was in that corner ran over to assist Tone. So at that time, I guess dude got up and went to work. Now, they had this white boy that ran Texas that was pro-Selly. You know, I don't know where all the places that he's been before he got to Florence, but he was there in, you know, during the incident. And this is the conversation that he had with me and my cellie through the rec cage. You know, when we're locked up in the rec cage, we're just right there. And the rec cage is just wire, is just, you know, a fence that separates each cage. And he was like, man, you know, he started going through his head, contemplating his decision not to assist Pro. Like, and the reason what it boiled down to was that he was scared. Pro was his cellie. He really liked Pro. Like, again, by all accounts, you know, I've never heard nothing bad about dude. You know what I mean? The only thing with Pro was he was young. And he didn't understand the politics. And he didn't have understand the severity of your decisions and what it can lead up to. And I don't know why he decided to put his life on the line for a buster, but that was what happened. And the outcome was him losing his life. But the white boy that we were speaking to through the fence, you know, that incident changed him. You know, through the course of the time that we were in the shoe, he was our neighbor. And he was like, man, I'm not smoking no more. I'm not fucking around no more. I've turned my life over to God. Like, because, you know, through the course of his time that he's been, I don't know how long he's been in prison, but he never witnessed something like that. He never, you know, shit's always going on in the compound, but to be there and to be involved in something like that and see that there were the potential risks, because there was no doubt that if he would have ran over there to try to assist Pro, he would have been dead too. Because them dudes aren't playing. You know, DC has a reputation of being vicious. You know, they have a lot of different, you know, some of them have a bad rep because, you know, all the homosexual stuff or whatever. But for the most part, the respectable dudes from DC, they're respected for a reason. These dudes are no nonsense about their business, and when it's time to go, they go hard. And we were able to witness that on this incident. I've seen it in plenty of places, in different penitentiaries that I've been to. You know, the DC car has funked with every car. And they funked with these different cars regardless if they had the numbers or they didn't. You know, it's very rare that you see the DC as a whole, as a group, tuck their tail or bow down. I've never seen it. I've never heard of it. You know, you might be able to punk one DC dude here or there or whatever, but as a group, I've never seen them concede to anything, especially if they feel like they're in the right, even if they're not in the right. They've always crashed and they've always gone hard. You know, I say that, you know, I always say it's like a pack of hyenas. And I don't say that to be disrespectful or anything, but it's just, that's what it is. I mean, you could say pack of wolves, pack of lions, whatever you want to say, but when it's go time, they going. You know, and they're known for that in the penitentiary. They're the only ones, as far as the black groups, you know, everything else is gang. Crips, Bloods, GDs, Vice Lords, but they have their own classification, DC Blacks. And they have that because of how notorious they've been through the system, you know. So this white dude that's our neighbor while we're in the SHU, you know, we talk to him every day just because we're locked down, ain't got nothing else to do. He'll bang on the wall, be like, hey, what you guys doing? This and that. And through the course of the conversation, you know, he got scared straight. Like, he sat there confounded. You know, he's telling me, man, he couldn't sleep. Like, he kept replaying the scene in his head and his decision not to run over there to help assist Pro. And at the end of the day, he was like, man, I think I made the right decision because, you know, we already told Pro that we weren't backing that play, that we weren't going to let the dude jump from being a Muslim into the Texas car. And all of his homeboys had told Pro, like, we're not backing this play. But at the same time, you know, he's seen his cellie getting butchered. And he dropped his nuts. You know, he admitted to it. He's like, man, I was terrified. I was scared. I'm not built like that. And you know, if he went over there again, he would have been a body, you know. But going back to when we first come to the SHU, they got everybody in different cells, in different, you know, they got holding cells in the SHU on each tier. So everybody's placed in, you know, in their each holding cell. You know, cellies are put together or whatever. They got everybody separated. And me and Omar, we were in the red cage with the DC dude across from us, the white boy from Texas next to us, and Tone and Wee Wee up front in the little cage. You know, so we're there when we're out there for hours because when we got back there, everything stopped, and USP Florence called the feds because it's a body. The dude didn't make it. And they had another dude that was from Texas with us on the other side of us, little dude. He didn't have anything to do with anything. You know, he's just like, you know, when we were talking to him through the course of our time, because he and the white boy ended up being cellies, he was just like, man, I told Pro, that's some goofy shit. I ain't got nothing to do with it, and walked off. But he got caught up because he was over there by the computer trying to email some people or, you know, use the computer or buy some songs or whatever, while the whole shit was blowing up in the block, right? And, you know, when I was in the cell, looking down, watching the scene, and I seen Pro laying on the floor, you know, groaning, the little Texas dude that I'm talking about was at the computer. And he had it laid down, face down, because, you know, the cops was coming around, whatever. And like I said, the cops didn't rush over to Pro, for whatever reason. They were trying to secure the unit because everybody was running around. But the little Texas dude, he said he heard it the moment that, the spirit left Pro's life, left his body. He said Pro was over there on the ground groaning. And he said, "Hey, I can't breathe." And he just heard like just an exhale of air, just. He said that moment when he was down there, he said, man, he knew Pro was dead. Because at this time, me looking down, I made the assumption, the evaluation that the dude was dead because of what I saw, of how I saw how limp his body was and how they weren't in a hurry to rush him to medical. Because, if you're still breathing or whatever, they'll put that oxygen thing over your face and they'll be trying to pump your heart. They'll be trying to do a lot of things. They got a lot of equipment on that stretcher to be able to help revive you. But when they pulled dude out, they weren't in a hurry to go to the medical. But while we're sitting in the rec cage, it was confirmed that dude died, So now we're on the rec cage and the CO comes through. They say, hey, the FBI is here, right? So now everybody's getting pulled out one by one to go be interviewed by the FBI. Everybody that was brought back in the SHU was going back being interviewed with the FBI. And I don't know what conversations any of these dudes had when they went into the room. But it came time for them to pull me and my cellie to go be interviewed. They put us in a holding tank inside the SHU, right across from wherever the FBI was at. So my cellie went first. He went in there. I don't know what to expect yet because they got us separated and they're just saying, oh, it's the feds here, they're interviewing everybody or whatever. So my cellie goes into the room and comes right back out. And while they're putting him in the cell, they lock the door and they're discussing whatever because I'm next. Me and him, we're in the same cell, holding cell. And he was like, man, it's the Fed. She looks like she just came off from hiking. Little itty bitty lady. She doesn't look like the normal Fed, with the suit and tie and all cleaned up with everything. She looks like she got some hiking boots or whatever. Like she was out on her daily activity and got called to the penitentiary for this incident. So they come in, they cuff me up, take me out. They take me to the room and they got the camera set up. The FBI lady standing there, her and her partner, and then a few the administration. I don't go into the door. I've been through this routine before. I get up, I step at the in the doorway, and she's like, "Hey, what's your name?" I give her my name, and she's like, "Hey, I'm Special Agent so and so." I was like, "Look, I don't have nothing to comment on." Because we already have somebody that admitted to the situation already. We just want to, just talk. I said, listen, I don't have any comment, so you can take me back. And again, they try to say, we already got somebody that admitted to the incident. We're just trying to just have a conversation. I said, listen, what part of that don't you understand? I'm done. So they turned me right around, put me back in the cage, in the holding cell with Omar, and took us back out to the rec cage. But what had happened, I guess, Wee took the body. Wee and one of the other DC dude copped out to the body. Wee already had a life sentence already. And he didn't have any illusion about spending the rest of his life in prison. He already accepted that fact by the way, he conducts himself in the penitentiary, by the way he adjusted to the penitentiary. The few times that I spoke with him, he's never talked about the streets. He's never, envisioned himself ever going home one day or anything. He was resigned to his fate. But Tone, at this time, he was waiting for his case to come back. Because, there's been a lot of laws that's been changed in the last 20 years. And some of his co-defendants had already gotten out on the same merit, the same issue that he was filing on. And every day leading up to this incident, he would get up and look at the computer. I'd be at the computer emailing my wife and whoever else, and Tone be there on the computer every morning. And I was like, "What's up, Tone? What's going on with your shit?" It's like, "Man, it's just any day now. I'm just waiting any day now, And, we've all been down 20 plus years. Tone's been down longer than me, a couple years longer than me. But we've been in different spots. In Atwater, we got real cool. Like in Atwater, there was times when I needed stamps to run my ticket, to run my poker table, or whatever. And every time I'd be like, "Hey, Tone, I need 200 books. You're like, "All right, I have somebody saying out to you on the next move." And the next move, there'll be somebody out there, one of his homeboys, like, "Hey, you Mesa?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Hey, it's from Tone. 200 books. He never asked me when I'm going to pay him back or how much juice on top of it or nothing. We just had that rapport. And I've always gave him back plus some just, out of gratitude. He never asked for anything extra back. But on my part, somebody helped me out when I needed it. I'm always going to return the favor. And I always put everything a little extra, whatever it is that I borrowed from him. So we always had a good understanding, a good rapport, and we was cool. We worked out a couple times together and all that. I don't want to go as far as saying that we were homies or anything, but we had a mutual relationship, a beneficial one, and a one of respect. So, when me and Omar sitting there, and we know his situation, we know he's about to go home, and we're fucked up about it because the homie's a good dude. He don't have there's no smear on his character for the whole time that he's been in a penitentiary. He's always been a dude that people respected because of the way he conducted himself. He's always helped everybody out. He's helped people out from different races. They had an incident in Atwater where this white dude from Texas was always sitting at the black dude's table because it's the sports TV. Because he's into the booking. He likes to bet on sports. And some of the skinheads in the block had some issues with him always sitting over there at the black table watching sports. And they wanted to run him up top. Well, Tone got wind of it and fucking got his homeboys and approached the white dudes like, "Man, what the fuck? You guys on some fucking bullshit time? You want to knock some dude on the side of his head because of what? Because he's sitting at our fucking table because he's watching sports?" I said, "Nah, we fuck with dude. So if you guys do anything to him, then we going." And again, Tone had that reputation that he doesn't just speak outside of his mouth. That if he stands on something, and that's what it is. And there's no doubt in anybody's mind that has ever encountered Tone or has ever dealt with him that he ain't about his word and ain't about his action. So the white boys backed off from that incident, and the white boy that was sitting there watching the sports at the black table end up running with the Texas car, with the Texas black. But he's always been like that type of dude. That's if he's your friend, regardless of gang, regardless of race, he's gonna have your back. And that's one of the things that people always respected about dude. So we were over there at this time in the rec cage. When we're coming back, going back to the rec cage after they try to interview us, I see Tone and Wee Wee in the first rec cage. Tone sitting down. His shit's busted, because he got hit upside the head with the lock about 4 or 5 times, and it's a gash and it's leaking. But he ain't made no attempt to wipe it off. Wee Wee just got like a lost look on his face. But to us, Tone looked subdued. It was just like, because the realization of his situation. Like every day, he's waiting to go home. Every single day, He's looking on the email, waiting for them to rule on his case. And he knows he's going home because his co-defendant has already been let out on the same shit. You know? So we're like, damn, man. So we kind of like just, it's fucked up when you see somebody that you fuck with be in that type of situation. But I think after a few months that I got out, you know, my cellie Omar called me from the penitentiary and had told me, hey, they let Tone go home. So Tone's home. And it's a blessing. But we and the other DC dudes, while we were there, they took the body. And they end up going to review to be committed to ADX. You know, while I was in the SHU at that time, there was like 13 people that was going up to be reviewed, to be interviewed, to go to ADX. The 2 Native kids that stomped out that child killer, where they stomped him out, busted his skull on top of the steps. They got committed to ADX while we were in the SHU. Chongo, Boy, and Corky from Texas Inmate all got committed to ADX for stabbing up Pete, where they found out that he was a fucking rat working with SIS. But also, by extension, Smiley and Joker, who had set the trap for the rat. You know, they were all going to ADX. And now, we and another DC dude, they were on the way to their ADX. There was a lot, you know, it's easy to put people in ADX when you're in Florence because it's just right across the street. All they got to do is just cuff you up and escort you over to the next compound. You know, because of like incidents like this, if it happened on another yard, you might go to the smooth program instead of ADX. Because there's been dudes that killed people, killed somebody on the yard and only got sent to the smooth program. But again, man, this is the environment that I lived in for the last 2+ decades. There's nothing about this to glorify. Because no matter what, no matter how you conduct yourself, no matter how you do your time, there's always a risk to your well-being. Because in this incident right here, everybody was minding their business, but it took one dude and one bad decision to cost someone's life. And in the penitentiary, there's really no you by yourself, because you're always affiliated, whether it's through your gang or through your race or through the region that you come from. Because after the gang, after the race, it gets broke down. Oh, he's from Texas. Oh, he's from Utah. Oh, he's from Washington. Or he's from DC. So everybody gets lumped into a group. And you might be doing your time the way you're supposed to, but a dude that's sitting at your table is running a miss, running a foul, and fucks up and piss off the wrong dude. And in our mind, the mentality that we live by is that if you hit one dude, you got to hit the rest of them because you don't want them to retaliate against you. And you might not even know that there's a beef going on because your homeboy over here fucked up and disrespected somebody. So now they're over there in the cell plotting. That's why I never wear my headphones. I never put both my headphones on both of my ear. Whether it's an earbud or a headphone, I got in one ear and I leave my other one open so that I can hear everything around me. I'm conditioned to live like this. I'm conditioned to operate like this because of so many incidents that I've seen where dudes got their headphones on, got their foot up over there with the remote, like they just chilling. And then bam, get up here, get hit upside the head. You know what I mean? So, and it's a fucked up way to live. Just imagine being in there for 23 years and 8 months with all your nerves and your your senses on high alert every single day. That's got to wear those hormones and those energies out, you know, because you're always on high alert. I've been conditioned now, like when I'm in there, when I hear loud noises, footsteps or keys, my heart starts, you know, beating faster. I get that adrenaline, like, you know, when you're about to sit down and somebody pulls a chair from under you, you get that, you know. I mean, I'm not animated. It's not people, when people watching me, they don't see it, but it's there. Your heart starts racing. You get that burst of adrenaline, even though you know it got nothing to do with you. It's just, you know, it's the fight or flight defense that your body automatically has. And I don't think it's natural for your body to have those bursts of adrenaline so constantly for so many years. But again, I share these stories and these episodes with you guys to give you guys the truth and to give you guys a glimpse of what really goes on behind that wall. It's not about glorifying any of these things. And time and time again, being in a penitentiary ain't a badge of honor. It ain't cool. But surviving it, I believe that I can have some pride for surviving the last 2 decades. You know, I don't ask much from you guys out here, hardly anything, but if you guys like these episodes, if you like, you know, what you hear and what you on here, man, share it with somebody. Get somebody that hasn't subscribed to me. Get one person. If everybody that watches these things, get one person to subscribe, we can double our viewership. I got my setup right here. I'm still learning how to use it. I gotta go rebuy my speakers, turn in my speakers and my mic because they didn't work the way they're supposed to. But I have things in the work that I plan on bringing people that I've done time with to come and share their stories so that the content can keep going. You know, and I've known some official dudes, so you can get a glimpse of, you know, the kind of people that we are. So I hope you guys continue to support this channel. Much love and respect to the audience. See you guys next week. Welcome to the USP.